Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the Writer's Room. I am your host, Kat Rocha, the night editor, and with me, as always, is
Jay Shirofini, author and alien in a human suit. And tonight we have a guest who needs no introduction.
But we're going to introduce him anyway.
Yes, the man, the myth, the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction, Jon Del Arroz.
Yay!
It's Latinx now.
Latinx. Well, I was going to ask you that.
Latinx.
Now, since you're the leading Hispanic voice in sci-fi, who is the leading Latinx voice?
Well, I mean, I don't want to claim that term unironically in any sense of the word, but it's probably me too. I think my claiming that might actually trigger them even more than the Hispanic thing. I started that as a joke, obviously, and I just said it a couple times on Facebook. Like, this is back in 2016, 2017. I'm just like, yeah, well, I'm the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction because I can't think of any other like Hispanic sci-fi writers who were out there. And a few of my friends like P. Alexander from Cursova magazine, things like that. They're Hispanic too. But I'm one of the few that like it really was getting out there with my name and promoting and all that. So I'm just like, oh, that's pretty funny. And so I did that, and I'm like, it's a real good joke because the whole SJW identity politics thing is such a huge thing to them. They put their pronouns and everything. Their entire careers are based on like N.K. Jemisin's just like, I'm black and it's Black History Month, so you'd better bow down to me. And that's her entire shtick. So I thought it was funny. And then people around me started just calling me that because they thought it was funny too. And over time, like it just started escalating, and I'm just like, screw it. I'm just going to put it as my title on my blog and things like that, and it's a brand now.
Well, at this point, it's true.
I did that. Now, at this point, it's very true. There's nobody, no other Hispanic author in science fiction who's come close. But I got some people mad.
Well, okay,
real
if you
mad.
got people mad, did you get Sylvia Moreno Garcia mad?
Oh yeah, she was one of them. Yes,
because I know she was playing that card for a while.
She was definitely playing that card. There's another guy, and I can't remember his name, but if you brought it up, I'm sure you could do it. There's another guy. He's got glasses. He looks like that, like the dork, like Wojak, with the black hair and glasses. Not like you. You don't look like a dork, but but you know what I'm talking about. There's a Wojak that like, gosh, I don't know. But the guy looks just like him. And I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he got really mad at me too. And I'm like, who are you? How many books do you sell? He's like, I sell short stories to Analog magazine. Oh, well, nobody reads that. Sorry.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Well, being that I have a deep, utter loathing of John Scalzi, which we can chat about later, I was quite impressed to find out I sell better than him.
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
it makes everything so happy once the statistics came out. Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, I wish I had
some of his books. Old Man's War sold really well and outsold anything I've sold. To be fair, and probably you too. But I mean, he's been on decline like severely, and all these big traditional publishing companies are in huge trouble. They are underwater. They have big contracts out there, and they're not paying off. And I love it. I love watching the big mainstream industry burn. I don't know about you.
I'm with you. Yeah, it's time to time to build from the ground up our own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So before we kind of dive into this, because I think we have a lot to say here, let's just go straight to promoting what you're currently working on. Because I think if you're into manga and isekai, you should support this because John doesn't hate you.
No,
I don't. So last year I had a hyper successful graphic novel, Deus Vult. Between the multiple platforms, it made over $30,000 and good stuff. We had a great artist. We tried to get that classic pulp Conan the Barbarian vibe, bring back the strong male lead because that's missing in today's world. And so we did that. Everybody loved it. Very popular book. And so I sat there with my artist, The Quaff, who did his book, Shotgun Samurai, which also has been doing very well.
I need to bring him on.
He's a great guy. You guys would get on really well. Yeah. And we started just messing around like as a joke. And I'm just like, you know what? I've had this idea to do this like Crusader girl isekai thing for a while, like just do the shoujo thing because I love the old shoujo isekais, and I just did a video on it on my channel today. My top 5, my favorite of all time: Inuyasha, Fushigi Yugi. I wanted to bring that vibe into my work, and so the Quaff has that sort of anime-esque art to it, and he could do the fun. He's got the little cutesy chibis in here, as you're showing on this page where he's beating up the Muslims, and so we decided to just have some fun with it, and it's kind of a parody of my book in that I flipped the script on it. I did the strong male lead, and he's in a crusader in 1099. He's going into a fantasy world, and on mine, I instead, like with the high school girl with the Crusades, we flipped that. Okay, so now the girl's she's going from normal world into Crusader world. So that's what we wanted to do with that. A lot of fun. 22 pages. The Quaff's the artist, as I mentioned. Great guy, great right-wing artist, worth supporting. I love his work, and 100% clean PG, good fun. That's the other thing I'm trying to push more and more. I didn't used to do that, but I've noticed like there's a crutch in writing these days. Like I feel like everybody tries so hard to be edgy and tries so hard to be dark and swears a lot and has a lot of sex and things to try to, and I feel like it's a crutch in writing, like where it's like they feel like they can't tell a good story without that stuff. And at this point, and I want to push back on that. So it's important to me to do that now.
I like that, especially because, as you said, it's a crutch, and it's just way too easy to go straight for the TNA or like the hyper violence, where it actually does require skill to engage your audience and tell a story if it's PG.
Yeah, it's true. And you notice there's not really any PG other than like Pixar, like direct for kids things. There's no PG things anymore. And we used to have, Star Wars was PG. Indiana Jones until they invented PG-13 was PG. And so, I mean, you used to be able to make good PG movies. It was fine. And then it sort of flipped. I mean, everybody just had to add more edginess in there and darkness in there in order to, I guess, appease the way that the culture was going. And if we're going to push back against that, I feel like it's our duty to push that a little cleaner.
Well,
and
for that
I'm not going
matter,
to do it all the time, but
for that matter,
right now
it's good to have something out there that you can actually give your kids.
That's true. Oh my gosh, I think about that with comics a lot because you get Superman now, and it's 2 gay dudes banging each other. It's like, okay, well, I don't want to give that to my 13-year-old son.
Did we really need butt rape in Superman? I don't think we did.
No, it's like, holy crap! How could I have, like, if I grew up with that? Can you imagine? I just wouldn't have read it. I would have looked at it as a 13-year-old and been like, "This is stupid." But it's just disgusting, and it's not for kids either. I mean, they're not writing them for kids. My stuff's good for adults too, but I like to do that. I've always done YA to some degree because I feel like there's just a market that needs to be served there, and the stuff that kind of transcends and stands the test of time. I'm reading Heidi right now, the Joanna how do you pronounce that, Spiri from the 1800s. It's about that girl from the Swiss Alps. It's a classic. Yeah. But that's all YA. It's meant for kids, kind of, but like it reads great for an adult too. And that's the type of stuff that really stands the test of time, I feel like, for the most part.
Very true. I agree with you.
Yeah. And you're pretty prolific as it is. I mean, I can see you doing a balance of different kinds of genres of material anyway.
Yeah, and I don't recommend that for writers. It's a terrible way to do things because everybody goes, "Oh, Deus Vult, you've got this badass Conan dude," and and it's got that classic like 50s, 60s style. We love that. Oh, what are you doing? Like a shoujo manga? What the heck is that? It's a totally different genre and totally different audience that's interested in that. And while I'm interested as an artist in exploring all this stuff and just having fun with everything, like most readers really just want to stick with their thing. And I realize that as a reader, I kind of want to stick. I mostly read like space opera books, and I don't really deviate from that. I mean, I read the classics too, but like I don't go out there and buy a mystery novel, right? And if my favorite writer, like who's my favorite writer who's living now? Yeah, I don't know. John C. Well, no, I guess if John C. Wright wrote a mystery novel, I'd go buy it. So that's not true, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
Fizz Chozo wants to know, are these Islamic terrorists or just regular Muslims?
They are heathens who have invaded Jerusalem and need to be taken down for the glory of Jesus Christ.
That's pretty direct.
Wow, that's hardcore.
Yeah. So who's the demon in the back?
He's a demon, like a literal demon. Yeah. So the demon's guiding the Muslims, of course, you know.
I like how he's got kind of an Oni look to him.
He kind of does.
Yeah. And that's what we wanted to do, because we wanted to create a real manga-esque sort of deal. And even though we did it American style, we did it left to right, and people have asked me that from the beginning. They're like, why didn't you do it right to left? And I'm like, because I'm American. So that would be stupid.
All right. So what are the various things that people can get in on right now with this? Let's encourage people to go out right now and support you.
Sure. The best deal on this, if you've not read Deus Vult, if you're new to all this, is the top one, because I screwed up the tier. And I made it $3 cheaper to get both books. And of course, you get to combine shipping, so that's always helpful. So usually Deus Volt's 25, and this is 15, which is because it's shorter. And but you know, we're trying to do what we can on the print costs and all that. But I actually messed this up and did this at $3 cheaper, because I was toying with the different prices at the beginning of this, and that's the best deal. So that's why we got a lot of people on that one. So if you like that, if you've already read my Deus Vult, of course, just grab the High School Girl and the Crusades. We have digital versions for Euro folks. A lot of Euro folks. I have a lot of European fans who actually buy the books and get them shipped. I God bless you guys. You are the sweetest people alive. But it's really expensive to ship overseas. The other most popular thing right now, you just scrolled past it. We have a T-shirt, which is it says Desu Volt on it. Well, I don't know if there's a better picture if you scroll down. That T-shirt's really popular because it's got a cute Crusader girl, and I just was playing with the Deus Vult. The original title of this book was going to be Desu Volt, because you know Desu is to be in Japanese, and all the weebs go, you know, Moshi Moshi, Desu, right? And so that was part of that, and so I made this T-shirt as a part of that, and it has a cool Crusader girl. And I thought that just like was a very nice image. And I actually got that image commissioned before the comic because I just wanted to use that for a lot of things. I thought it looked great. And so a lot of people are going in on that. Yeah. But I had to change the name of it. I started promoting this like 2-3 weeks before the campaign. And I just started getting emails, and they're like, what's this? You got a new Deus Vult campaign? I'm like, no, it's Desu Volt. Deus Vult 2? And I'm like, no, Desu Volt. And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, you thought I typoed my own title, didn't you? Like, you thought I'm that lame. So people didn't get the joke, and I'm just like, I scrambled for a title real quick for this. And we were going to name it. We toyed with all these things because, like, the manga, you know, have all their, like, super long, ridiculous names. So we were going to name it something like, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Crusader Girl in 1099 AD, right? And it's like Indiegogo has a character limit, so like I couldn't even do half of like what I wanted to. So yes, that's why we named it A High School Girl in the Crusades. And I chose that because I realized, you know, the real original isekai is A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court by Mark Twain. And so I mirrored that name with like a modern style of that. And so that's what we did. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so Punch Rock Groin here. I mean, Brick Tungsten.
Real quick, I was just gonna say, real quick, as far as the Desu Vault, that just reminds me of when we were first starting. We knew a team who put out a comic book called Bushi Tales, as in Bushido. And they learned a little too late that most people are going to think you mean something else when you say Bushy Tails.
Oh no, they got a hardcore furry audience, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yes. So anyway,
oh boy.
From Drake Tungsten, I already have Deus Vult and I still ordered it to get the new cover.
So hardcore fans right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I love the new cover. It's great. That was the thing I got pushed back on the first one. So my artist did like this like Franz Frazetta oil painting, and he's the interior artist. He just decided to do his oil painting himself on the original one. But it was like, and it's not on this page because I'm not selling that. But it had some very large tracts of land, and so it had like a very, very close to nude girl on the cover, and I'm doing these clean books on the inside, and I'm just like, okay, well, that's I wasn't planning on having that kind of cover, but it definitely is eye catching, and so he did a great job. It was beautiful, so I'm just like, okay, so we'll go with that. But I did get complaints on that, so I'm like, okay, so I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would like a clean cover, and so we got Manuel Lolo Guzman, who's a wonderful, also Hispanic artist, and he did the cover for this. So good stuff.
Nice.
Very, very cool. And I have to say, just looking at Deus Vult here, I really like the vintage style art. I really like this style.
I'm pushing more in that direction, and I have a next project, which is going to be different. This took forever to make, obviously, but the next one, I work on a lot of different graphic novels simultaneously. You know the drill.
Yeah.
In order to get them out, and so the next one, like I was really like looking at this and trying to do the John Buscema Conan thing because I love that style, Prince Valiant, and while I was doing that, I started reading a lot of European comics, and I realized there's this whole wide world of just like really intricate artists who just do beautiful work, and they're so much better than American comics.
Marini is one of them. I just every time he puts out a new piece on Instagram, I'm just like, shut up and take my money. God damn you.
It's unbelievable.
Okay, you just got a massive compliment to your artist here.
Janelle says the art reminds me of, and I can't see.
Sorry.
Reminds me of Go Nagai.
And it actually does.
Wow. Oh wow. Well,
yeah.
That's a great compliment. The quaff's in the chat right there too. So yeah, take that, man. Good work. But so the next one's gonna be like a European style sci-fi book, and I wanted to do sci-fi because that's what I'm primarily writing and all that. I'm the leading Hispanic voice in sci-fi after all. So I want to get back to that kind of as the roots for the next graphic novel. And I also really loved Valerian. I've been reading through Valerian and Laureline, just the old French comic book. And oh my gosh, like they really just don't make comics like that in America. It's just so elegant, so wonderful. So I wanted to really pay homage to that. So that'll be the next one. That'll be out as soon as we get these shipped out. We'll be pushing on that. And I'm actually going to write a novel to go along with it. I'm testing everything. Can we do a graphic novel and novel in the same universe and make people like it? We'll see. I don't know. I like testing.
The art style and definitely the coloring reminds me of the graphic adaptations of Elric that came out in the 80s. Yes. Okay.
Those
so you know
great.
What I'm talking about. Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous work. And so it definitely reminded me of that.
Okay. So why don't we bring on the next one? Let's talk about what else are you doing right now?
We got the next sci-fi, which I mentioned. I guess do I have a preview of that? I don't know. I don't know what happened to my desktop. My desktop actually screwed up on me, and everything's kind of gone now.
Oh no!
Let me see if I can grab a preview of it.
Well, by the way, if you've got any video previews, or if you know anyone else who's in Pulp Rev who has video previews, I'm happy to host them on our Wordcraft site.
Oh, cool. I don't have a video preview. I just got
okay.
Just got art to show basically. Where is this? I had a where'd the cover go? Uh-oh, that's not good. Issue 1 color. I don't have the cover. That's not good.
Oh well.
Well then. Here it is. Okay, Lopresti. Yeah, so Erin Lopresti did do the cover for this one, but this is kind of our main heroine that I'm bringing up, and her name is Ayla Rin, and she is a secret agent for the Terran Empire. And so we're having a full Imperium and all that, Warhammer style, and I guess I got to zoom out of this because it's too big. My bad. There's her crotch. That's what you're into.
See, it's still rated PG.
Oh, yeah, very Barbarella.
That is nice.
Yeah, so we want to do. It's got a lot of Laureline in it too. If you look into that, so it's kind of a combo of the Barbarella, Laureline, sort of Flash Gordon vibe and all that. So we're really bringing it back. to the classic stuff. And, that's what we're trying to do overall. So I'm excited for this one also. And then I'm finishing up my 6th Von Monocle novel right now. I just drew it out. Like I had my outline, and it was supposed to end in this scene I was finishing today. And then I decided to throw a little complication in it. And so it's not going to end in this scene today. I have to write another scene now. So that's coming back out. So that'll be the next novel. And I'm going to do a novel of this too. So it's not going to be the same story, but it's going to be the same character. I'm going to write like a novel in this universe so that we can kind of get these things going.
Nice.
What if you're doing a project that has mature themes, but want it to be rated PG? I don't know. I mean, some of the violence might get into PG-13. I don't know. It's hard to tell because the kids the kids these days are exposed to so much in their video games. It's true. But so I don't know. There's a blurry line there with violence. But if you just like dial back the swearing and the nudity to some degree, I really think that just presents a cleaner book. I think it's not that hard to do.
All right. Well, cool. I love the character design there.
Yeah.
Now the next. Oh,
I was gonna say, Comic Book Cut comments that he likes the redhead.
That we did that intentionally too.
Good.
Because obviously everybody's erasing redheads, and I'm just waiting for Kat to be replaced by a black woman on this show.
That joke's been made. Yes.
I dare them to try.
So yeah, I definitely, it is a middle finger to Hollywood just doing that intentionally. And the other thing is a lot of people always comment about the, her anatomy and all that, in comics and all that. So we made sure to make her boobs large because
nice.
Congratulate. Well, you know what? I'm going to ask you then, sir.
Yes.
Why do you think there is such an incredible backlash against what has been beautiful since the beginning of time?
Because I think it's pure evil. I think it's Satan with his corrupt influence on the global homo world. And I think they're trying to tell everybody and gaslight everybody that what is beautiful is actually ugly and what is ugly is actually beautiful. I think it's a nihilistic intention, and I think it's meant to suppress us and enslave us, to be honest.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I don't either. The interesting thing is you look at what Crowley said, and generally I think he's a kook, but he had said that basically his idea of what satanic worship was doing everything backwards, which meant ugly was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nutty. But if you look at it, all the ads, all the models now it's like they go out of their way to make sure it's somebody you can't admire and find beautiful anymore. It's really tragic. It's very bizarre. I don't get it.
And have you noticed that it's always the boobs that is the in? They always start with claiming, it's the boobs are sexist. The next thing you know, they've taken over your scene. Everyone's suddenly an agendered, bisexual, whatever.
Yes. I saw that. I've been covering a lot with the quartering lately. Mm-hmm. And this woman from G4 TV, this Frost lady, who just lost everything on the air there. She's made her whole career. If you look at everything she's gone into, she's done the whole gamers are misogynistic, for her entire career. That's like what she's made her career out of. And she's also, she posts her crap about F Trump supporters and all that stuff. It's really fun. And I'm just looking at the quartering, and he's just like, I'm going to have a nice civil dialogue with her and treat her with respect because I'm going to show her, it's like, dude, she's here to just stomp on your audience, who are the people who support you. She's here to tell your audience they're evil, bad people, and they need to change their ways. It's stand up for your own people. And that really bothered me a lot that he refused to do so. I saw he did further commentary today, and now he's really doubling down on this stuff. He was on a live stream earlier saying we could have had a dialogue. We could have bridged the gap. It's you know what? They need to bridge the gap to us. They've pushed the Overton window so far to crazy, to ugly, to absurd that we want normalcy, and they can come back to the table if they agree to normalcy. Otherwise, we need to mock them until they go away. That's the bottom line.
I
and
thoroughly
it really
agree.
offends me. Really offends me.
I'm with you. Yeah, completely. Determined Sheepy says,
oh boy.
Patrick Tomlinson is gonna get talked about, and the rats of SFWA.
Hey, rats don't deserve that kind of treatment.
No, they're cute.
No, rats aren't that bad. Yeah. Gosh, since some of the people in SIFWA, I mean, oh my gosh.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's plenty of room though. What do you want to tackle first?
What do I want to tackle for? I don't know.
Fat
What do you
Rick.
It's your show.
I don't.
It's your show.
Fat Rick isn't as large on my agenda, mainly because he wasn't on my radar till one of our friends emailed me and said, "Look at this dumb shit."
Yeah.
So he wasn't on my radar very much either. In 2018, I was banned from Worldcon, as most people who follow me know. But if you guys don't, they banned me because and they went on their website and said it was in an effort to remove racist bullying elements from our convention. So I, of course, took my ball and went home and said, "Oh gosh, well, I guess I shouldn't have done that. I wish I could have bridged the gap." No, I'm not the quartering. I sued the fuck out of them. And
Nice.
they spent over $100,000 in legal fees against me before finally throwing in the towel. In which case they settled and said they had to make a public apology to me for libeling me as racist. I'm legally not racist, my friends. And then
That's
they
frameable.
had to pay me. Isn't that great? Yeah, I know. I want to put that on my wall behind me. Not racist legally.
So not only are you the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction, but you're also certifiably not racist.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, how many other people have had that certified in court? Not many.
Not many, no.
Yeah.
So
So
what
that happened.
was
Patrick Tomlinson. This was the court of San Jose in California, believe it or not.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, I know. I win. No, they just had no grounds. If you looked at their trial was a joke, and we actually got him in deposition, and it's of course this weird gay guy with a mohawk. He's just trying to stick it. Yeah, I'm going to stick it to that guy, and like an idiot. And we got him in deposition, and so my attorney just we're an hour into it. My attorney's screwing around, just having fun with the guy because he's such a whack job. And he goes, "Okay, so do you have any evidence to believe that Jon Del Arroz is racist?" The guy pauses. No. My attorney goes, "One moment, please. Let me talk to my client for a second." And we go into our little private room and just bust up laughing. He goes, "Well, it's pretty much over here. Do you want to keep going? Like, because this is pretty fun. Like, I'm having fun with this, and I'd like to try to talk about his little SJW talking points and stuff." And I'm like, "Look, keep going. It's so fun." He's like, "I just can't believe, like, when I asked that question, he's like, the other attorney should have just been like, paused. My client is not answering that, if anything." But it's just shocking he did that. So I mean, they were just complete buffoons with the whole deal, and I mean, they libeled me. They really did, and so they got what they deserved. That was that. But Patrick Tomlinson, this does relate.
Okay.
Was at that convention, and one of the pretexts they gave for banning me was I wrote them an email in the November before the convention saying that I was a little afraid to go on site because people had been threatening me. There was a City of San Jose employee who like messaged me on Facebook, like his full name, like not anonymous. It was very bizarre. And he messaged me like, "You set foot in my city, I'll kick the shit out of you," like that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, okay, so I've had direct threats of violence against me to go to this convention. And what are you going to do about it? Like, I mean, will you give me any protection, anything like that? Zero response. So I'm just like, well, okay, so this is kind of scary. So I thought about it for a while, and I was going to bring some bodyguards, of course, like with me. I ended up bringing my tranny friend with me because I thought, you know what, if I'm going to bring a bodyguard, I'd better make this really count on the identity politics scale. So I brought my tranny friend with me, because I was going to just get kicked out, and I did, because they're scared of me. And but one of the pretexts they kicked me out of was that they were going to film me, or that I said they claimed I was going to film people. And what I said is I'm going to have a body cam on, so if anybody comes up to me, I'm going to have, don't mess with me because I'll have it documented so that, there's going to be no hijinks here. And they took that as I'm going to go, they were thinking I was going to be Jesse Waters going out there following people with a camera or whatever. I never said, obviously it was for my own safety. And so what happened was, like, right before the con, my tranny friend organized a protest against the convention because Worldcon has been a hotbed of pedophiles over the last 50 years.
Yeah.
And she organized this protest, anti-pedophilia protest outside of Worldcon. And then Patrick Tomlinson found out about it ahead of time. And so he starts ranting on Twitter saying he's going to F up any Nazis if they, the usual, literally he says Nazis all the time. And he says, I'm going to get you all on camera. So you guys your lives will be ruined and blah, 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 blah. So I took that and I emailed the convention. I'm like, hey, this Patrick Tomlinson guy, you said you're banning me for filming. And this guy just says he's going to film everybody. And his very words are directly a threat. Like he's going to harass people. So are you doing anything about him? And they didn't respond again. So of course I had them totally on the ropes. Like they just did not hold the same standards towards the leftist crazy author as they did to me. And it was very obvious. And so that was my only interaction with Patrick Tomlinson in 2018. He started calling my tranny friend a Nazi, threatened to beat her up. And ironic that he's a white dude, white feminist male author threatening to beat up a tranny, right? Very funny.
Aren't they always?
All right. As the SJW. And calling everybody Nazis and all that. So I had a good laugh about that. And that's all I knew about him. And then I forgot about him because he really is a nobody. He's sold no books. He just whines on Twitter all day long. And he's a nut job. And then I rediscovered him at the end of last year. I was on the Kiwi Farms, and somebody on there alerted me to a post where they posted on. He's got his 200-page thread on there. The farmers think he's hilarious, and somebody alerted me to this book sale thread, and they had his book sales and Zoe Quinn's book sales on there, and they were both terrible, as you mentioned at the beginning of this. We both outsell these people, and it's amazing. I mean, they have the biggest media groups in the world behind them, especially Zoe Quinn, and they can't sell books. Despite all the propaganda, despite everything, at the end of the day, us just making good books and having no PR department, and Jay Ishiro, he makes very good comic books. Very good, top tier. If you guys have not read them, yeah, I stand behind that. And we just do it by word of mouth, and that's it. They have full marketing departments, full PR department. They've got New York Times interviews. They've got all this shit, and they still can't sell as well as we do. That's freaking amazing. So I made a video about it.
Give his books away. Yeah. Seriously,
it's true. It's true. So that's how I rediscovered Patrick Tomlinson, and I've made a few videos about him since then. And I found out that he he tried to sue the Kiwi Farms for one, and then two, he tried to sue the Opie and Anthony forums. And I had not thought about Opie and Anthony in maybe 15 years. Did you ever listen to them?
No, actually.
Yeah,
I know about them now.
Yeah, they were pretty good radio hosts. They were second tier. They weren't Howard Stern tier, but they were second tier, and they're a little more right wing than Howard Stern and all that. So, they're talented guys, but I just had never thought about them. I mean, they were not on my radar. Neither was Patrick, but he was suing them and trying to get the court to order that the anonymous people posting on their forum would have to dox themselves, and then of course suing them for all these other harassment things, trying to get money out of them, extort them, etc. And shut down the forum, of course. And he brags that they used to have a subreddit. They used to be on Reddit before they have their own forums. Mm-hmm. And of course he got them shut down on Reddit because Reddit's a piece of shit website.
Yeah.
But so he has gone to these lengths to do this. And they do. He talks about how bad they are. They do have their entire website is dedicated to just hating Patrick Tomlinson. It really is. it's really funny. And
so he got an entire website.
Yes.
He got an entire forum worth of trolls.
Yes.
After him.
Yeah, and it
Wow.
goes back to, I guess he tweeted something in 2015 like that went viral, and he just was like, I don't think Norm Macdonald's funny. And it went viral, and a bunch of trolls were like, just thought it like was ridiculous, because who doesn't think Norm Macdonald's funny? And so they found out that Patrick is so insane. If you say anything negative to him in any space whatsoever, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, he will respond. He will respond every time. And he'll respond with something cringe like, you're a stalker, child. You don't know what you're talking about, child. And he says child after everything. And he calls them child or little one or sweetie. It's like, holy crap, this guy is a weirdo. And so he tried to sue this forum. And much like Worldcon spent $100,000 against me and lost and had to pay me, Patrick Tomlinson spent $100,000 against these guys in the Opie and Anthony forum and lost.
Oh, God.
The judge was like, people are being mean to you on Twitter and you're suing them. What the hell? I'm tossing this lawsuit.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yes.
Freaking amazing.
So it's really hilarious. And I just found out, like, I mean, there's a whole rabbit hole. The guy's nuts. He claims all this stuff like happens to him that actually doesn't happen to him. There's a lot. It's mostly people are mean to him on Twitter. And of course, this forum, they're just mean to him, but they're doing it like just as a joke and funny. And they just do it because he responds every time. He won't stop responding. And they've caught him in a bunch of stuff. Like, he claimed people went and like vandalized his car and his motorcycle. And then they found there's a video, like a security video from like a neighbor's house, like when this all went to court and all that, that like he actually went out in the middle of the night himself and then vandalized his own car so he could say that it was vandalized. Like, he was caught.
Oh, God, he's one of those.
Well, you know, the thing is, with the whole thing about his criticism of Norm Macdonald, you know, he runs his own comedy club. It's the Cthulhu Comedy Collective.
Oh,
yes. He thinks he's a comedian.
Yeah.
And he's not funny.
No, he's
not.
And
no.
And he can't write. His routine reminds me of him checking his Twitter in the morning and grabbing all the most trending lines and then just repeating them.
Yes, I know. It's amazing. But you know what? That does build a decent Twitter following. And if you look the way Patrick Tomlinson, he's got 40K Twitter followers. If you do that, if you stick on the trends and you're diligent about it and you don't deviate, you do start to pick up that kind of traffic. It's really annoying. And same with YouTube. You know, if you make a video that everybody else is making the same Brie Larson Star Wars video or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, you'll pick up the algorithm and it will work. And it sucks because I don't want to cover that stuff at all. I do not care about the next Hollywood movie whatsoever. And sometimes I feel like I have to, just because I have to grow the YouTube channel to sell the books. It's like, it's catch-22, but it works. Like, that's how the quartering is so big, is he literally just follows the Twitter trends. He just makes a video about whatever the Twitter trend is 2 hours later. And you just do that 2-3 times a day and you grind it forever and you never deviate. You don't miss a day and you become the consistent news source that people look to so that they find out what that news is, and you win. That's how it works. And so that was Patrick's idea too, except for Patrick failed to monetize it and didn't really do a very good job at it. So, and that also has no charisma. The quartering at least has charisma and all that. So Patrick does not. He's just fat.
Real quick, change of subject, but an important change. Elias says, before I forget, John, which books should I start off from yours? I don't mind the genres.
I don't know. Should I start you with the best starting book or should I start you with the best series? It's always a good question. My most popular is my steampunk. So like for Steam and Country is where a lot of people start. But I really became a much better writer like once book 2 hit. So like, it is, it's an old book now, right? You know how that is with old writing and all that. But most people like Justified. So if you like Justified, you can kind of get a good feeling of what my writing style is now, and maybe that'll make the other series pop a little better for you. So that's kind of what I guess start with Justified. That's probably what I should just say.
So Wolf says that Wolf says that Patrick is a white Jesse Smollett.
Yes. Yes. That's right. Start with the stars and twines, says Samuel. Okay. I don't know. It just depends on what you like. I'm all over the map with everything I do.
Oh, wait, that was another question.
Oh, sorry. Go back
there's
to
another
that
writing
first.
question.
I'm sorry.
I like writing. I never get writing questions.
Okay.
So.
Really?
So
yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately, the YouTube thing, it just becomes such a show that people are on the Patrick or the Sifwa or the World. You know, it's always that type of thing.
Then we will bring you back and we'll talk writing.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, my friends.
Yes.
You guys are always welcome on my show, by the way. Just if you're in the chat, just ping me and I'll just have you on.
Thank you.
You're good talkers. Yeah.
Thank you. Dark Stranger asks, what character or story inspired you down the path of fiction? Is there any type of character or story you really want to tell?
Let's see. Character or story that inspired. I would say the Wheel of Time really got me down the path of fiction. For the most part, like I really, as a teenager, I really was like, yes, Rand al'Thor, my guy. And I wanted to be that hero, you know, and overcome the Dark One and overcome the Dark One's taint. You know, that was I love the hero's journey like that. And I love it when a hero is just like, F it, I'm going to go leave everything. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it on faith. Think about that. He just did it on faith when he was just like this farmer kid. I love that sort of deal. So I definitely want to do that. If you notice, he's just some farmer kid out in some podunk village. I did that with my my steampunk deal. You know, I made her farmer kid in this podunk village. You know, I try to do that. Is there any character and story I really want to tell though? I don't know. As far as characters go, I guess the one thing I haven't done yet is I want to do a Star Trek style series where it's like I've got the captain and the first officer and you know the engineer and the doctor, you know, going off and exploring and just going off like the 60s series did, like the Planet of the Week, where there's some cool sci-fi concept going on. I want to do that, but like have it the planet of the novel. And really just go through like that. I really miss that style of storytelling. Even Star Trek doesn't do it anymore. So that's on the agenda, and it's going to tie into my Stars and Twine series. But I haven't gotten to it yet.
I think people would really eat that up. There is a real craving for that kind of thing.
Yeah, and not degenerate, you know.
Yeah.
Right. That's the two pieces that need to be there.
Isn't that the problem that's basically poisoned everything? You look at Star Wars, you look at the original Star Trek, or even Next Gen, you look at the original Battlestar Galactica, you go down the list, and all of these were very hopeful, very forward-thinking. Yes. The idea was that, you know, we could overcome, that anybody could make a difference. And they had these higher philosophical concepts and morals and a moral compass. And now it's all about sex and torture and fuck you and
well, it's also all about agendas and whamming.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I tried to watch Discovery, guys. I did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I waited, and like you know, the 3 seasons came out, and I'm like, I'd better catch up on Star Trek because, you know, at the end of the day, it's still Star Trek, guys, right? And so I watch it, and I actually started. So I watched it. I know that no.
It's not Star Trek.
You're right, Kat. You're right.
No.
Just no. It's an STD and nothing more.
I actually, like, because everybody had talked so badly about it for so long, I actually didn't mind the first episode. I was like, okay, well, I hate the Klingons because they don't look like Klingons. They got some weird monster alien of the week thing going on here, and they look funky. And, you know, I hate that it's a chick named Michael. That's stupid. And I hate that she's better than everyone else. That's also stupid. And she's shiny and black and better than everyone else. Yay. I get it, you know? And then it goes along and she gets even worse. She's like, oh, I'm Spock's sister. It's like, but you're not, you're human. What are you talking about? Oh, I'm Spock's adopted sister. It's like, what the F? This is stupid. But beyond that, like, it's a thing. Like the first episode was okay. Like, I mean, there was a lot of action. There was some fun stuff in it. And then it just like, it all goes downhill from there. And it just like the like, other than Michael, like it starts to like, you get there's the gay couple in there, and they like, I mean, they're really gay. Like I can't think of any other identifying quality about them other than they're super gay. Like,
And that's
and
bad.
that's bad. That's a bad character right there.
It is
And it's
bad
just
character.
like, okay. So, and you can't listen to them talk because they really talk like this for real. And I'm the doctor of the ship, girlfriend. And it's like, oh God. But they have kind of a minor role. There's so many characters in it that you lose track of who's who for a while. It probably takes till the second season until you realize who's who because there's so many characters. And so the first season really wasn't that bad. And I was like, okay, well, everybody talked this up. So like, because they talked it up like it was like the worst thing ever. And I'm like, okay, well, new Star Wars is way worse than this. So, this isn't actually that bad. You get into season 2, it is that bad. they dial up the gay guy stuff like to 10. So they're now like almost main characters like Michael. And there's a red letter review of the second season. Mm-hmm. And if you look it up, they do a little mock second season and everything just doesn't make any sense. They rush through stuff and then go, yay, science. I fucking love science. Just like they do on Twitter. And it was terrible. And then the third season gets even worse, Kat. You won't even
swear that show should be re-entitled Star Trek Hold My Beer.
Yes.
As far as let's keep ratcheting up the dumb,
It gets even worse. So you're watching it and they get transported in like 1,000 years in the future or whatever. And it's like, okay. And you really don't know what's going on. And it's a big cluster. There's too many characters again. And then they pick up this like random trill chick who I thought was a dude at first, but she looks like a chick and it was very weird. And like, then she like gets in a conversation with the gay guy in the middle of it. And this is dead seriously the dialogue in it. And the gay guy is like, well, she blah, 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 blah. And I don't remember what he says. He just does it in his gay talk. And she stops and she looks at him and goes, I've never felt like a she. And he just looks at her seriously with like a longing look. And he goes, what do you feel like then? Got dramatic music going. And she goes, they, them. And I'm like, oh God.
Oh, super cringe. I knew about the trill. I didn't know about that conversation.
It was killer.
Oh, that hurts.
I know. It really made me want to kill myself, like in that moment, just like a transgender would do. I mean, whoops, I can't say that. Sorry.
No, it's like, man, you guys can't even nut up and pick an actual gender for this character. You have to go with they, them, so fucking, well, that's the problem is that, a lot of these characters are now created with the ability for the viewer, more than likely, female or part of the alphabet soup brigade, to map themselves on top of and say, I am this character. I relate to this character. I can be this character and I can pretend that I am this character in this whole scheme of things.
Yes.
Because that is how a lot of, not all out there, and it's not a bad thing, but that's how the female brain, by the most part, reads things. Is a lot of times they can't relate to something unless they can map themselves onto it. And the problem is that this is now taking it to 11. And it's just stupid.
It's so bad cosplay fan fiction, and then they have a budget. And that's it.
It is. Yeah. And they want every character to be mappable or fappable, but not by white males. So, because it's obviously not their target audience. So
it's really tragic. So mine is going to be in my Stars and Trine universe. There's two major powers in it. One of whom's humanity. One of whom is the aliens, the Orishans, which is kind of the main character. There's others in there too. But one of the big things about Star Trek that bugs me too is the globalist aspect of it, where everybody can get along. So it's like we can have the Vulcan who has totally different value system, and Andorians who have different value systems, and a Klingon, and it's like you get all that together, it's going to be a big train wreck. Is really what there's not going to be a utopia like you pretend it is. And so I'm very
Next Gen did that episode. Okay.
Right.
Well, no, when they first introduced the founders, they all came together, and you thought that, like, once they revealed the big secret that everybody would be friends and it'd be kumbaya. And when they're all like, "Yeah, I'm related to Vulcans," God.
Yes.
So, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. So I want to pointedly make it so that, like, it's going to be a joint mission between two powers, which is the Oricians and the humans, but everybody else is going to be excluded. It's not going to be a, like, big kumbaya between too many people, because then you'd really, like, not be able to function as a military unit. It just wouldn't work. And I'm going to pointedly point that out in there, because I'm going to have somebody, like, ask, like, why aren't we doing just like this, like, thing where we could all come together? And it's like, are you crazy? That's crazy. And of course, the two powers are going to have problems with it on the ship by itself, like just dealing with each other, because they're going to have such separate value systems. So it's going to be nationalist Star Trek. There you go.
But that's not a bad thing, and that makes for good conflict and interesting conflict. Not who's saying something bad about another person on Twitter.
I know. That's the goal.
And the original Star Trek, there was racism. Everyone didn't get along. Mm-hmm. It was the wild frontier. And you
should have heard how they talked about Spock. Bones mocked Spock so much in that. It was constant. Spock mocked Bones right back because he wasn't a pussy. He wasn't a victim. He's just like, you're just illogical, doctor. And that's it.
If I was, like, insanely prolific like you are, something I would always want to do is do it like a setting that's essentially Starship Troopers versus Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yes.
Have those two come to head.
You could have that. You could show that it's not a bad idea. Like, you actually make the villain the Starfleet utopian globalists. Not a bad idea at all.
We'll all be the same.
We'll all be the same. Eat bugs.
Yeah, geez.
Eat bugs, God.
Yeah, somehow this turned into a rant fest on how much we're all disappointed with Star Trek, which isn't a bad topic.
I love talking about that. Oh man, I didn't hate Picard as much as everybody hates Picard. Mm-hmm. I thought that was, like, it was all right. I don't mind Patrick. They had a lot of member berries in there, though. It was, it was like, oh, remember the Romulan guy? Remember Hugh? Remember 7 of 9? I mean, it did have that. And, the nostalgia got me a little bit. I didn't mind it. They went a little cringe with the 7 of 9. They have another strong female lead in there. And they made them kind of lesbian-y at the end. They didn't announce it, but they made them, like, pet each other's hands in, like, a really pronounced motion that looked stupid.
For reasons.
Do that for real. Yeah. But
oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's like, why? There's no point to do it. That was a pure virtue signal. There's no, any of that was not part of the show. Like, ugh.
Well, the entire show is about a white man, so of course they have to, like, try extra hard to fly that virtue signal.
It kind of wasn't about a white man, though. They tricked everybody by making you pretend it was, and then it was about that like this android girl who's better than everybody. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah. So it was really about her. It was really about I don't even remember her name. I just remember she's an android girl who's better than everybody.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, before we wrap up the night, because we're coming to the top of the hour, since we've got so many people on this show, or so many listeners who love comics and really, really are fiending for superhero comics that aren't awful, why don't we talk a little bit about Flying Sparks? Tell the audience about that title.
Sure. Flying Sparks is my main comic book series. So what I did is this is what I started with in comics. I guess I could pull up a image of that rather than something else. Let me find it. It's Flying Sparks. I've got this. Oh, you've already got it? If you're faster than me, that's fine.
Well, I've got this. I mean, this isn't the best image, but
that's fine.
Here we go. There we go.
Hey, there we go. Well, that's my crossover with this guy Bill Williams, Punchline. which is a wonderful indie comic too.
Yeah, it is. It's good.
I really liked it. And so we did a crossover real quick with the two of ours. It was just a one-off thing, and it's meant to be just read by itself. So no prior reading required. But I got really mad at DC Comics, believe it or not. Believe it or not, I got mad at DC Comics.
And I can't imagine why.
Yeah.
This was prior to them going way off the tilt, but it was right when the New 52 thing was starting. And the big companies do this problem with their storytelling where it's just like, oh, continuity is too convoluted. We're going to reset everything. Sorry, prior readers, you're just screwed. And as a prior reader who'd been following everything, you just kind of go, what the heck? This is not right. And they canceled Batgirl, which was done by a guy named Brian Q. Miller, who it was like the only thing he wrote for comics, really. And they made Stephanie Brown, who was Spoiler before, which was Chuck Dixon's creation, into Batgirl. And I really liked that character. I liked her as Spoiler back in, she was basically Robin's girlfriend for a while. And then her like earning her way into Batgirl really made sense. And it was really cool. And what they did with Barbara Gordon was really cool too, because they had her in a wheelchair for a while because of the whole Killing Joke thing from a long time ago. And she was now Oracle. And so she'd progressed too, because now she's this cool hacker lady who's like, she's the person who's like guiding the people behind the scenes and giving them the info. And she's the brains behind the operation. Really cool way to use Barbara Gordon. And it was like a thing where this Stephanie Brown became Batgirl. Barbara Gordon was like iffy about it and like didn't trust her because she's like, this girl's like sucks. And then she just like reluctantly starts to train her. It was very, it's like Karate Kid, right? I mean, that story really works every time. Just gets you in the feels. And it was great. And it was really progressing along really nicely. And then New 52 happened. And they're like, we're just going to reset everything iconic wise. Killing Joke didn't happen. Barbara Gordon's now Batgirl again because that's the iconic thing. And we're just stopping this with the issue with no ending, no resolution. And we're just making an all new Batgirl #1. And it's Barbara Gordon again. And I was like, okay, well, this sucks. And then I'm like, oh, wow, this is just what they do with these companies and comics. Like they just reset things whenever they feel like it. And you could be a longtime reader and like a storyline and it doesn't matter. And so I got really blackpilled on the mainstream comic industry from that. That was prior to the SJW shit. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to basically make my own Stephanie Brown-ish character. And that's what I did with Flying Sparks. So I started doing that. And Metagirl was like kind of an extension of that. And she kind of became her own thing. And I realized I liked her better as a Supergirl type of character rather than a Batgirl type of character. And so I did that, and I made her not have powers so that she can have some gadgets. So she had to like really earn and learn her way, learn the ropes, and like get better over time, go through that hero's journey. And then secondarily, I was crafting a story with the original artist of this, and I'm just like, I want to do a story about a villain, like, but he's like an honorable villain. He's like your Godfather mafia type of guy. And so I did that, and then I realized, oh, I can throw these two together. Oh my God, wouldn't it be fun if she was like dating him and like didn't know that he was a villain? And so then I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a cool concept. And so I launched it from there. And then it's just like, it's two people who are living secret lives, hiding their lives from each other and trying to have a healthy relationship with that. And then disappearing to go fight like major battles and things like that. So it ended up really cool. It ended up, we're now on issue 14, is almost wrapped up drawing right now. So we've really pushed this really far. And I'm releasing them as 3-issue volumes now. I kind of quit with the single issue thing because it doesn't pencil very well, and which I'm sure you probably found out too. I think you do graphic novels only, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's it. So this is kind of my main deal, and the story's going to wrap up in issue 15, at least for the main storyline. We're going to see how this last volume sells. Once that it's going to be maybe end of the year. I'm going to do Overmind first for the next crowdfund campaign, then this, and that'll be it. So I love this story. I've been working on it since 2012, so it's a 10-year story, 15 issues. I've got 3 side issues on top of that. And these characters are near and dear to my heart, for sure.
Well, let me just say right now, you're up to issue 15.
14, yeah.
Issue 14.
It'll be 15. It'll be 15 before we actually do the crowdfund, yeah.
Okay, listeners, 14 issues, no continuity break, no woke crap. It's remained consistent. Isn't this what we all wanted?
And a creator that actually is invested in his creation.
And look at the art. This is solid art. I mean, especially compared to what we're getting right now from Marvel and DC. This is like suddenly we're going back to the 1990s.
Work at Marvel. So last year he actually ended up going to Marvel and then got a monthly gig at IDW, and then kind of turned anti-Comicsgate and blocked me. So I had to get a new artist to finish these last 2 issues, and I'm so sad because we had 13 issues with the same artist, and I'm just like, gosh, we were so close.
Well,
but my new artist is better. I feel your
pain.
Marvel and IDW. I bet he's really regretting this now.
I don't know. I don't see it, like, he's good, but I don't see a big career trajectory for him there. I just don't see. I mean, IDW, like, I mean, he's on like Sheena, Jungle Girl, or something like that. Like, it's not like anybody cares, you know. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking. Like, you know, we could really do good work here. We're growing. Comicsgate's growing. Just the indie sphere is growing. Everything's really on a great trajectory. And I was really saddened about that. Like, he didn't talk to me. He actually paid him for a bunch of pages, and then he ghosted me for a few months, and then he blocked me and did that. So it was like, you tell he was just like, it was really a bummer. Never got those pages finished. Didn't pay me back. You know, I don't know. You guys have probably dealt with crappy artists and comics. I mean, it's just, they're all flaky. Got to tell you, especially the I'm just kidding.
I don't want to get too into it. I've told this story a billion times. The reason my Bombshell book never got off the ground is I went through 4 different artists who all ghosted on me.
Oof.
Took money, didn't come back.
Terrible.
There was one person who didn't, but he just wasn't the right artist for the project.
I don't know. He was. He just, I don't know. He just stopped performing.
I thought there was one who
Vince.
Okay.
Vince started out great, and his art just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and he kept taking longer and longer. And I said, look, I'm gonna have to move on. And the next thing I know, he's working for somebody else and turning out great art. It's like,
oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so it's like, okay.
I wish they'd be just normal business people, but they can't be. But I do have this is the new artist, so he's much better.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think you've stepped up.
Wait a minute. When is this person free? No, Case File Arkham can do it. This person can do it. We could bring back Case File Arkham.
No, he's never free because I'm going to keep him occupied forever.
Well, okay, if there comes a break, I've got a year's worth of work for him.
That's awesome.
But real quickly, everyone, I'm going to repeat this, and I want you all to listen. Instead of us all constantly bitching about how much Marvel and DC sucks, and we want our old comics back, and
I'm still guilty for doing that.
That's been going on too long. Good superhero comics are right here in front of you.
Yes.
Buy the book, 14 issues, almost 15. And also, next time everyone's bitching about there's nothing good out there, there's no good superheroes, where are the values? Here, right here. Really, this is how things change, is we stop complaining and we start getting and supporting artists who are doing good work, who don't hate you.
That's it.
Yeah.
It actually makes me smile and kind of warms my heart seeing your book, John, because the last thing I read in comics was X-Men Green. And that is,
I don't even know what that is.
Oh.
If you need an episode of your show just to on a lark to rant,
oh no, it's that bad.
You read this thing. Starting with issue 5. And that's it.
Basically, there's no surprise here because it's all over the internet. You are given a cast of X characters that you don't care about, or you'll hear the name and you're like, wait, that that character's in it, and then you find out, oh no, it's not the character you love. The character you love is dead. They gave the title to somebody else.
Wrong pictures.
But
wrong pictures.
It's basically, what if the X-Men was to do Captain Planet, Let's Save the Earth story, but have absolutely no morals, no substance, and end with a 13-year-old shanking some poor night manager at a supermarket.
Oh, I don't have it in the memory anymore. I was going to put up the picture of. Remember, we had it in the
in the
graphics, and no, they're not there. None of the folders have them.
And she has no remorse for killing somebody.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like I hate you all. I really do. So I see your book, and it's got good art. It's, you genuinely love the story and the characters. There's real conflict. It's like, wow, I have, renewed hope for this genre.
And she's a pretty blonde girl.
Yep. And she's a pretty blonde girl.
That's what I like.
She's
my
pretty
friends.
blonde, and you can tell she's female. You can tell she's female, but she doesn't dress like a slut.
That's there's a fine line with that, and that's definitely what I wanted to do. I had some guy get really mad at me. He was like, "Your character design sucks," and I'm just like, "Okay, well, what do you want?" Like, I like the sort of Supergirl classic look, and that's what I was going for with this. I think the big boots look really good on chicks. I think the little mini skirt looks really good on chicks. It doesn't need to be super low cut. You got into the 90s, and it's like, I remember Cloak and Dagger, and she's got that whole dagger going down, and you see the side boob and all that. It's like, I mean, come on. It's like, that's so tacky. But the classic really looks beautiful. In a way where it's like, it's still definitely very sexually appealing. It's just not like, she's not out there being a OnlyFans model, I mean, that's all. So,
and she has pockets. I like that.
That was important too, because no superhero, and that bothers me about everything, because where are they carrying their cell phones or their, it's like their wallet? They never have pockets, and it's never, that's bothered me about superheroes for a long time. It's the little things. And you know what? You were the first person ever to comment on that, and I've been waiting for somebody to talk to about that for a year. 10 years.
That she doesn't look trashy?
No. The trashy's been commented on before, but the pockets, that's never been commented on before. Yeah.
I like that she has pockets, that she has a utility belt. Yes. I'm with you. It's like, where are they keeping their stuff? I mean, you can, with later with later stories of Justice League or other things like that, okay, they've got headsets, that's fine. I don't need to see the headset all the time. But where are they keeping everything else?
Yes, I'm Googling X-Men Green now. I can't. I gotta look.
Oh dear God.
X-Men Green.
Enjoy the pain.
We did a show with Janelle here, where it was the three of us, and we all drank a little and then talked about it.
Yeah.
It was one of our most fun shows.
They're green eco shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe this is real. Oh no.
Oh, you haven't even read it yet. And
no.
And my favorite
Nature Girl. Oh my God.
Nature Girl. My favorite page is still the one that, the way it's laid out, makes it look like they're running away from a giant sea turtle attacking them. That wasn't what was intended, but that's how it's laid out. And the page that makes me cringe the most actually is not her shanking the poor night manager for doing his job. No, the page that makes me cringe is Pyro on playing a guitar made out of a living tree, singing Johnny Cash.
No, I thought the cringeworthy part was when the police dog runs in to get her, and then she ends up talking to it, and she asks the dog for forgiveness for murder, and the dog agrees.
Yeah.
The chat doesn't want me to read this. They said it will drive me insane. So
it might. It definitely might. All right. Well, we should definitely bring you back.
Yes.
You want to come back in a couple weeks?
Yeah, happy to. I'm not probably selling anything then, but that's fine. I don't need to sell things.
Well, I didn't really realize that we could really that we had somebody that would want to talk about technique. We try to do that every episode. But yeah, if you want to do a show,
I'm happy to talk about anything. Yeah.
Excellent. After the show, let's pull out our calendars.
Cool.
So before we end the evening, first off, all of John's links are in the description, including to his webpage, his Amazon account, or Amazon profile, everything.
Nice. Thanks.
We could bring him on for a Monday night.
What's on Monday nights?
We'll work on it.
Okay. But
Monday nights are our bullshit nights with it's our Monday night threesome with Janelle. So all right. So
that's awkward.
Listen,
we have tons of fun. Listen to the show. It's lots of fun.
It's the night where it doesn't matter. We have a few revolving topics. Usually it's random things, ranting about things, or stories about being Gen X and behaving badly.
Oh, Janelle puts in she wants you on. So you've been formally invited to the threesome.
Oh gosh, if the girl wants me on, I can't say no.
Okay, which one did you point to? That one. And Fair Maiden says this was a kick-ass show.
Thank
proud of everybody. Awesome. So where can everybody find you?
I guess YouTube's probably the best place now because, I do have. I wait a minute. My good friend has a Twitter now, and it's twitter.com/leadinghispanic. Definitely not me, but it is somebody who runs an account who sounds a lot like me. I don't know. I got banned off my my main Twitter account last year because I called somebody Whitey, believe it or not. So So there's that.
Wait, you called somebody Whitey and they banned you?
Yeah, and so I point this out. I always pull it up because you just type in Whitey into Twitter and somebody's saying it every 5 minutes on Twitter. Total BS. Yeah, I'm suspended on Facebook right now. Facebook's the worst platform out of any platforms. So I hate it more than anything. But yeah, YouTube, I've got a Discord where we have a lot of fun and hang out. We've got all my people in there. I like that better because it's a lot more just like chill hangout. It feels like old internet when there were chat rooms and things, and you could just have friends on IRC. And remember you guys were around in those days.
Oh yeah, I remember the Wild West.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I like that. And now I know Discord's got its issues, but it's pretty self-contained to my people in there, so it's not like there's an issue. And then obviously the YouTube's growing like crazy, and I'm on Gab too, and I'm OTOMO, like Otomo. And that's like the creator of Akira. So if you guys don't remember that, that's my name on there. So yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
When is
Whitey offensive?
Oh, okay.
When is Whitey offensive?
Wolf 10 was asking when is Whitey offensive. Apparently Twitter thinks so, and
when it's convenient to ban somebody.
Yeah,
it was convenient. Some guy was an SJW coming at me going, "You racist scum," but doing that crap. So I said, and I saw it. It was the typical, he's got the beard, he's got the glasses, he's fat. It was exactly what you'd expect, right? And so I just said, "You're the racist, Whitey. I'm Hispanic," and because that's how you go back at people. And then he just reported me, and that was it. They just popped me. Nope. Yeah.
Well, before we go, one other thing. For those of you who are new to the podcast, you can pick up one of my novellas at J. Shiro Finney on Amazon. It's Scars, hard science fiction, and also one of the greatest buddy stories you've never read.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, John. This has been an amazing evening, and thank you everybody in the chat for joining us, and we'll see you all next week.
All right.